letting be spoken, letting be free, exhalation, traces of motherhood within you. As we continue on tonight, I would like to read some of the questions that were on the wall to get us thinking about how our mothers continuously impact us as human beings and how we carry an extension of themselves within us, whether that is a portion that needs to be healed or things that we celebrate and nurture within ourselves. Okay. So the first question is, if you could have the most honest conversation with your mom, what would you say? How are you acknowledging the unseen pathways of your breath? I know this question is very poetic, but what I mean by that is oftentimes we as human beings, we have so many emotions and thoughts, and our actions, the things that we say to each other, may come from pieces of ourselves that we're not even acknowledging, like, wait, where is this coming from? So how, in our speech, in our actions, in our behaviors, are we taking the time to really think about, well, where is this coming from? Is this from an action, from how I was raised? Is this from a friend? Like, how are we acknowledging the unseen pathways of our breath that way? That's the second question. What qualities do you cherish about your mother? And a mother doesn't have to be like your birth mother. It can be your grandmother. It can be whoever helped you become the person that you are today in ways that are celebratory. Besides them being your mother, what do you know about the human being who birthed and or raised you? This is a question that I'll touch on a bit more when I speak about my book, which will be soon. But yes. And another question is, how are you liberation, freedom, letting be spoken, letting be free, exhalation, traces of motherhood within you, whether that is things that we enjoy within ourselves, things that are perhaps traumatic, anything in anywhere where motherhood lives within you. What has your surrounding taught you about motherhood? This picture was taken, I think my mother took that picture, because I have like 25,000 pictures from like my childhood, because my parents were always like picture. So every time I'm in an event, I'm like picture, because I'm gonna look at it when I'm like a grandma and like whatever age, God bless me, like 100 years old. I'll be looking at the picture and be like, oh my God, I remember Irv was like singing at this event. She was so wonderful. Crystal was like amazing and touching everyone in the room. So I'm like, I gotta take pictures so I can remember. So where was I going? Yes, so this. I hope everyone is not like, wow, like, is she really gonna do that? So this. Ocean of push-throughs, elevated pitches of screams, composed of sweats, the console and exhalation of rhythmic pushes. to lead her ancestors unto womb-like nutrients, and newcomers to entries of an open tent. Pushing, called upon the gentle eyes of brown soil and atoms, through ashes molded by her stretched fingers, for the crust of her thin skin, for a static second unaccounted for. A feeling like her breath can erupt through the rough patches of dark and unvisited corners, of working for 2 and 3 lifetimes in one. Pushing. Veins inside of her esophagus named each section of her body, for the gaze of a body that has built closeted memories inside of her womb, for a heartbeat that immersed itself in the composition of air, for skin of mirroring blood cells. Push through. I am here. Emerge out of the density of volcanic air that sheets of paper write up afterwards, of water blown by horns. Emerge from the concrete footsteps that are built for this moment, or from scattered ashes that impervious floors held for her. Emerge and followed by eyes that speak of I see you, or of witnesses that may never happen, of chains that are ripped away, or collectively met with skin-to-skin lovemaking. That's the first one.
When I too became a mother, now I can truly identify what it is to be a mother. What true and unconditional love means. Do you remember the first time you heard your newborn cry, holding in your arms? That heartfelt joy, knowing your life surrounded around this new journey you was now embarking on. Or no one never mentioned those sleepless nights, postpartum depression, or even the great loss in childbearing. The reality of real joy and heartaches in just being human. I have the great opportunity of being a mother of 4 amazing children. I love dearly.
I would like to introduce my dear friend, Joanne Dorville, who shared with me a piece of how her mother impacted her life, and I would love for her to come and share a bit of the story and the livelihood that they share with one another, because that's what it's all about today.
Anyone wants to talk to her, she's always like open. So just having this conversation, and I kind of like learn a little bit more about herself, about what she went through, relationships, career-wise, health-wise, kind of like I can paint the picture of like what she was when she was younger. Clearly I wasn't there. But it also helped me as a grown woman. I just want to be a fraction of the amazing person that she is. So that's what it is.
Now, like I said, I would like for all mothers to stand up. Let's all look around the room. Let's look at each other. Let's see that we're actually here. Let's be present in the moment right now. Look at each other's faces and celebrate that we're here today. Motherhood within us, traces of motherhood within us. And I am really honored to be in your company because life is within you, and I'm just so glad to be celebrating that today. Yes, so like I said, I'm gonna have to read this many times because I wrote this book for many reasons. For one, that I'll be speaking of right now is to honor and uphold the voices in motherhood in different ways. I know that it gets challenging, and I acknowledge that, and acknowledge that we are all human here, meaning we are constantly learning and relearning and unlearning from each other in different ways, or we're striving to do that every day. And by creating self-awareness and by nurturing the different places in our hearts and our minds, which is why I decided to gift each mother a gift. Oh, they got her. Well, there's more flowers, so everyone can take flowers in the room. Come get some flowers, because we all have motherhood, traces of motherhood within us. So please come, get flowers. I can always leave it up front, and when you leave, you can take one with you.